Kim Savage, thank you very much. And our thoughts are with all the people in Christchurch. We're seeing some very difficult pictures from that scene. And clearly there's going to be a death toll. We just don't know how big it is at the moment. But we'll come back to that story before the end of the show. Now back to Libya. I want to talk about Muammar Gaddafi, the man. Who is he? What are the secrets of his regime? Joining me is Jamie Smith of SCG International Risk, Khalil Matar, author of Lockerbie and Libya, a study in international relations, and Saeed Idris, a member of Libya's opposition in exile. Prince Saeed, let me start with you, because you're a member of the former ruling family there. What are you hearing from your sources in Libya?
Well, what I'm hearing is that Gaddafi is using air force, using helicopters, bombing Tripoli. The people are without water, without electricity. Of course, as you know, there's no telephones that functioning, and now he's imploring to use air force against Benghazi. What we are really asking the world to do is there is a United Nations resolution that dictates that if a leader is committing genocide against his own people, then the world must act. And the former dictator of Libya, Muammar Gaddafi, is committing genocide against his people, innocent women and children.
Let me turn to you, Jamie Smith. What is Colonel Gaddafi capable of? We know about the atrocities he's committed in the past. This is a whole new ball game for him. His whole regime is being threatened. How far will he go?
Well, good evening, Mr. Morgan. He is a very pragmatic man. He's a survivalist, and we've seen over the years where he has responded to the bombing in 1987 when President Reagan attacked, and his personality changed, his tactics shifted. And in this case, his regime, he is trying to hold on to power. He's going to go to just about any lengths he can to hold on to power. And there's a difference here between what is going on in Libya versus what has taken place in Egypt and what took place in Tunisia, in that those states were the military. The military was the state in Egypt and in Tunisia. In Libya here, what we're seeing is that the military arguably does not have the capability to oust Mubarak. And what you wind up with then is if Mubarak steps down or if something happens to him, then you wind up with a regime, but there is no alternative, because the concept of regime change assumes that there is some coherent choice that is an alternative to the regime in power. You don't have that in Libya, and so that creates a vacuum, and that creates then the opportunity for groups like Al-Qaeda in the northern Maghreb or the LIFG to step in, and now you've got an Islamist entity that has stepped into a power vacuum, similar to what happened in Afghanistan, in Iraq, and in Somalia. And so, you know, it's very important that...
Yeah, I was going to say, Jamie, I mean, knowing the man, when I asked how far would he go, I mean, what is the potential end game here? If the people do rise up against Gaddafi, would he turn on them in the way that Saddam Hussein did to his people once? Would he use chemical weapons? I mean, how bad would it get?
Well, I believe we've heard his son, Saif, say that we're going to go down to the last bullet. And what we've seen so far, we've seen bombing raids against military installations in order to prevent the weapons on those installations from falling into the hands of the opposition. And, you know, the helicopters have reportedly been attacking protesters in selected areas. You know, they're capable, and they are going to kill their people. And the difference is because the military here is following Gaddafi's orders. The military in Egypt and in Tunisia, they did not. They wanted them out. So Gaddafi's in charge, and he's got the military at his disposal, and he's not going to go away.
Let me turn to Khalil Matar. Mr. Matar, you've met Gaddafi. What kind of man is he in private when you meet him?
Just like every other politician, very charming and very likable, somebody who presents himself as knowing everything that's going around. It's a totally different picture, of course, than you see politicians dealing with the situations they are dealing with in public, as erratic as they may be. Jamie hit the nail on the head when he said that there is no military, that there is a vacuum that's going to happen if the regime changes there. There is another element to the whole situation out there, that is the tribal element, in addition to the Islamist element. The regime in Libya is built like regimes in Yemen and Saudi Arabia and Jordan. That is an alliance of tribes, of bigger tribes, against smaller alliances of other tribes. Even if Colonel Gaddafi decided to give up power, which is highly unlikely in my view, that means his tribe is going to fight to the end. His sons could fight to the end, his tribes could fight to the end, the tribes allied with them could fight to the end. That is a threat of civil war. The Islamists taking over the LIFG as part of the Al-Qaeda in the Arab Maghreb, which is a more organized element than Al-Qaeda is right now, the mother Al-Qaeda is right now, started to establish mini emirates in the eastern part of Libya. I just hate to see this country falling into a civil war, or the threat of the Islamists taking over the country and controlling the 1 million barrel of oil a day and 1 million tons of gas or whatever it is out there, and have a terrorist, Islamist, fundamentalist, oil-rich country controlling that.
It is a very worrying situation.
Can I come?
Gentlemen, thank you all very much for your time.
Can I come in, please? Excuse me.
Yes, you may, Prince Said.
Please. First of all, there is an incorrection here. The military are not with Gaddafi. Gaddafi, he has only the mercenaries with him. And there is no Islamic republics. This is incorrect. There will be no vacuum. Libya has went through this in the past, and the people of Libya have stepped up, and they have set Congress, where they have done a constitution. They have gathered around the forces of the Senussi, and there is not correct. There will never be a vacuum in Libya, and Gaddafi is going to go. He's not. Libya will not be under any Islamic republic. It will be a democratic regime. Libyan people will not allow anymore somebody to rule them by rule of thumb. They are going to have a choice, and there will be a democratic Libya, a free Libya, where the Libyan people will control their government, will decide what kind of government they want, and there will be no vacuum, and there will be no Islamic republics. I'm sorry.
Prince Said, thank you.
That everybody
I'm going to have to leave it there, Prince Said. Thank you very much. And to the other two gentlemen, thank you very much. For many Americans, the most unforgivable thing about Muammar Gaddafi is his responsibility